Now you see, I haven't finished. No, I haven't finished. I wasn't a teacher for nothing, you know. 50 minutes is the standard. Wider than family, with our friends, it's always been Anne who's kept the contact with our friends. I think men are often a little bit careless about keeping the relationships up. When we moved to Bradwell, one of the criteria was that we should be near enough to Lee to get back and visit you good people, our friends from Lee. That was seriously one of the considerations. We would not have gone further. So I'm very glad to see a number of you here, and sad that some of you aren't here. But friends Anne keeps in touch with. And in the wider sense of friends in our community in Bradwell, Anne is central to so many community activities. She always seems to want to bring people together, preferably around a meal. When the shop closed, she said have a community meal, of which 30 people are to come every month and get to know each other. Now the shop's reopened, she started a coffee morning in the shop. And so this sort of wanted to bring people together and wanted to socialise. And a lot of that has to do with cooking. And she has an enviable reputation, not only for cooking, but for catering to larger numbers of people, and having only about 2 or 3 peas left over at the end. So we haven't lost too much money. But it wasn't always so. When we went on honeymoon, I only weighed 10.5 stone, and Anne, I think, was a bit concerned about that, wanted me to build me up. So she decided on porridge every morning, lashings of bread and potatoes. I just looked at the order that she placed when we took the boat on our honeymoon from Horning, with all the bread and potatoes on there, but sadly she made a slight mistake. When she made the first dose of porridge, instead of having 2 measures of liquid and 1 of porridge, we had 2 of porridge and 1 of liquid. And it had the consistency of pre-stressed concrete. But you know, she's moved on since then, as you will know. But I'm very lucky. I'm luckier than I think, and I'm not bragging, I think I'm luckier than many, if not most men, in that Anne and I share the same interests. It was Anne who introduced me to sailing. Not only sailing, we like walking and swimming, cycling, wildlife, and you know, all those things we've been able to share. And I've enjoyed a partnership which is more than just loving, it's a partnership. So I've really enjoyed it over all these years. I'm thankful that when we fell in love and got married, life was simpler. The roles which were expected of husbands and wives were clearer, simpler and less complicated, and I really don't envy the children of today who face the rather blurred and muddled impressions that you get. So all through our marriage, Anne has looked up to me as the one who can do everything. With a clear, unshakable conviction that she knows what I should be doing and precisely when I should be doing it.
And how she's going to get you to do it, Brian.
No problem, no problem. I'm nearly at the end.
You're good.
Glad I wrote the notes, because I do get, you know...
You're being carried away.
No. I expect many of you have heard the old adage that a man without a woman is a ship without a rudder, with no purpose or direction in life. I don't think that's quite true. I think that had I had the misfortune not to meet Anne, I think I would have woken up each morning and breathed and drunk and eaten and got on with life and done things. I would have set some course through life, but it would not have been as enjoyable, as exciting, or as surprising. It would have been there, but it would have been, let's say, an inferior course. Because you see, with Anne, there's always something new, and the grandchildren have reflected this. Always something surprising. One might think that approaching 70, which is now past, that milestone, might be the time to start slowing down. Maybe to start cutting back a bit, you know, giving up a few activities. But in the last 18 months or so, Anne's joined the painting group, the sewing group, the singing group. We were going dancing together, and when we sold our van and couldn't sleep in it, she said, well, buy a tent. So at 70, we're back to camping again. So life cannot be dull or boring.
Or comfortable.
Not comfortable.
Or comfortable. Stephen will be amazed, because Stephen can't stand tents and camping and racing and all that. So, anyway, Stephen, yeah,
well
I've just told him when he's 70, I'll buy him a tent.
It's good. It's very good for your back.
So, although this evening we've actually come to celebrate the fact that Anne is 70 years old, somebody very appropriately gave her a card today saying she's actually 70 years young. And I really mean that, because everything changes, everything is new, everything keeps refreshing itself. And I've found out that on this voyage of discovery through life, if a man is a ship with a rudder, it's far better for me. I'm far happier, more fulfilled and more satisfied if I recognise whose hand is on the helm. Ever since that moment that I walked into the AYPA social, 53 years, 1 month, 21 days and possibly 2 hours ago, and has been and still is the love of my life. I ask you to raise your glasses and say happy birthday to the love of my life.